It was a terrible investment, 100%, and I lost my money. I get it. I'm a diversified investor. I make mistakes. This is one of them. But I learn from my mistakes. This won't be happening again. If I'm going to put serious capital to work in a broker-dealer, in an exchange, it's going to be one that's regulated, that has transparency, and has the same rules of test that every other exchange that deals in stocks and bonds has. Because everybody's saying the same thing. It's great to be a retail investor and trade a few $1,000s worth of crypto. And if that's what Binance is going to do, good for them. But every single institutional investor is going to look at this and say, okay, can't play with this structure anymore because there's not enough transparency. I'm going to wait for the SEC or whoever it is going to be, the Fed or whoever, to regulate this stuff. This is actually a turning point for this industry. It's a maturation for this industry. That's what's going to happen. I'm disappointed, like many other shareholders. I always try and find what is the outcome of something like this. I mean, yes, I'm a shareholder in the International. That's a zero. It's not the first time I've made a bad investment, probably not the last time, but luckily I make more good ones than bad ones, and I learn from my mistakes. What's going to happen now is there won't be another situation like this for institutional investors ever again. We're simply not going to put capital to work until this stuff gets regulated. And what is occurring, and I'm just one voice in it, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to fly to Washington, and I want regulation. I want it now. No more delaying. I think this puts tremendous pressure on the SEC. I think a bill like the Stablecoin Transparency Act, which has been floating around forever, not going to signature, not going to markup, we got to stop doing this to ourselves. As an industry, it has to stop, but also it's time to move forward with regulation. This is the bottom of the crypto market. A massive player goes to zero, and now you build from the ashes. That's the upside. I lost money in the accounts there. They have a gate on them now. It doesn't stop me from buying more, and I'm going to do just that. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that most of these currencies and tokens and coins have absolutely been beaten into the ground as a result of this, and probably a buying opportunity. That's the way I look at it. I want to do one thing, and that one thing is to pass the Stablecoin Transparency Act. One thing, because that allows us to use the US dollar as a payment system. I would use that in all of my businesses every day. It's far superior to ACH, far superior to SWIFT, far faster, more transparent, 100% audible. All I need is the regulation that forces an audit every 30 days and guarantees me the backup for this is Treasury bills less than 12 months of duration. That's one thing. Very simple. That would signal to everybody around the world that regulators here in the United States are taking crypto on, starting to put rules in place, putting the guardrails on. No one is going to play ball anymore in this space on an institutional level with serious capital till we get it done.
I think right now, if you're, licking your wounds, go to the large cap projects. I mean, the Ethereum, Bitcoin, obviously Polygon, Solana. Polygon's been slaughtered, and it's a good project. Great opportunity to add to it. I have very big positions in these names, and I've been nibbling as well. The one thing I would tell everybody is you can't pick the bottom. It's impossible. You have no idea when it's going to happen. But if you're staying long the category, you need diversification. I have so many different positions on right now, and they're all over the map. But if you believe in Bitcoin, it's a buying opportunity, but you can't guarantee that you're catching the bottom. Nobody catches the bottom. It never works that way. Great news about the crypto economy and even positions like Bitcoin or Ethereum, these are decentralized holdings. It's not just the American investor exposed here. Bitcoin is all around the world. If Bitcoin went down another 20%, it wouldn't really matter because it's spread around everywhere. And most of the holdings are not institutional. For all the excitement about Bitcoin, no institutions own it yet. And that's the decision you have to make at a time like this when you're an investor. I mean, this is an opportunity to say to myself or anybody, look, if I believe in 3 years, 36 months, that there'll be policy on Bitcoin, do I want to own it after policy comes and all the institutions start buying it? Or do I want to take a chance and live with some volatility now? And I don't want this to sound trite, but let me explain how bottoms are made in any market. I don't care if you're in equities or in debt or in crypto or in real estate. You always need a big player to go to zero. That always helps, whether it's long-term capital or whether it's one of these crypto infrastructure companies. But it always gives you a good bottom when you get a large player over-levered that goes to zero. And that always tends to be the beginning of the rebuilding process. So if you have to sacrifice someone who used too much leverage, and it's always leverage that does this, somebody's over levered, positions are complicated, they're not transparent, they're not liquid, and they go to zero. Someone is out there on the brink of zero. That's okay. In fact, I'd argue that's a good thing when we get it. Now, do we get it this week? Do we get it next week? Someone's going to zero. I don't know who, but it'll be great for everybody else that survives because everybody will learn from that. And that's what I like about a washout, an event. And I think we're due for one in crypto land. And I don't know who it's going to be, but I guarantee you 100%, I've seen this movie before, you will learn later that somebody put on a heavily levered position, they got wiped out. And it's good. It's a good thing. I don't use leverage on crypto because I've seen volatility like this in the past. There are certain assets where I might put leverage on, but it won't be in crypto.
All the leaves are brown.